Hi, and welcome to the SEO podcast, Unknown Secrets of Internet Marketing. My name is Chris Burris, owner of eWeb Results.
I am Charles Lewis, your internet marketing specialist.
Ooh, I forgot to change the back.
As soon as you said it, I was like, yeah.
So the image in the back is the wrong logo, and the company is now eWeb Results. This will be the only podcast where we will talk about eWeb Results. We might even make mistakes during the podcast from time to time, and the logo is eWeb Style. It's exciting. We've made the change. We are eWeb Results. Because at the end of the day, style is just a result, and nothing matters except results. Exactly. So welcome to another fun-filled edition of our podcast. This is podcast number 289.
I want to drop a little disclaimer.
Yeah,
right?
Okay.
This is the first podcast with us using eWeb Results as eWeb Style instead of eWeb Style. So
it's
going to be
one?
different.
Is this number one? It's going to be hard for us.
It's going to be funny for us because I'm interested to see how this pans out.
All right.
So 289 is officially the first one as eWeb Results?
Yes, I think that's fair to say. Okay. And also the at eWeb Style is going to be eWeb Results, right? Yeah. I think we've got that already taken care of. Cool. So this is podcast number 288, the first one as 289. Oh yeah, because I'm looking at the other. There we go. 289, the first one as eWeb Results. Didn't we just cover that? Yeah. I feel like this is getting redundant. As always, there is a tip from our previous podcast, and that tip is add a platform-specific CTA to your BIOS. Yeah. No, bios.
Bios, exactly. Yeah, what you want to do is anytime you are writing your bio that's specific on whatever platform it is, right? So don't make the mistake of using the same company bio across Twitter, across Facebook, across YouTube, across LinkedIn. You can have it similar, right? Because nothing changes that much. You were still started at the same time, regardless of what platform it is. But instead, customize the CTA. So if this is your bio on Twitter, then you should probably include the words "follow us" in it. Or maybe if this is on Facebook, you should include words like, I don't know, like us perhaps. Or maybe this is YouTube, then you want to use words like watch or subscribe. But the key is making sure that that content is specific to the platform you put in.
Yep, makes perfect sense. Cool, and that is from our podcast number 288. Let's see, please remember, we are filmed live here in Houston, Texas, and we are your friendly local neighborhood top position snatchers, and our mantra is,
don't be a douche.
Do not be a douche. So we've got a really big article. I think we're only going to cover about half of it today. Yeah. What is that article that we're talking about?
First off, man, let's give a huge punch in the face to Julia McCoy. She posted this article a couple weeks ago, 20 useful content marketing tips you might not be using, but you should.
But you should.
You should. 20 useful content marketing tips you might not be using, but you should. 20 is a lot of tips. It's a lot of information in here. So we may get through 10 of those today, and then we'll do the next 10 next week.
Perfect. Sounds good. Hey, if you've got some sort of electronic device and you're in a position to, which you probably are, go ahead and tweet now. What should they tweet? And by the way, don't look at the screen behind us.
Actually, you could tweet that.
It still works,
get it. But tweet us at Best SEO Podcast, at eWeb Results. And this is hashtag SEO Podcast 289. Should have tagged us in it at Best SEO Podcast, at eWeb Results. That way we can follow you back and do all of our social networking stuff.
It's actually kind of an interesting experiment changing your company name, right? Because we debated, should we blend our eWeb Style and our eWeb Results Twitter page? Should we blend our Facebook page, our G Plus accounts? And the reality is we have 288 podcasts saying, twitter.com/
eWeb Style
and facebook.com/
eWeb Style.
Those podcasts are not going to go back and get edited.
No, they're not.
So we had to keep both. We couldn't just get rid of one. And in an ideal world, we thought and debated about attempting this. We could have given up eWeb Style
and
put
changed it.
eWeb Results in place, and then tried to grab eWeb Style once it came free, and
just didn't want to take the risk.
Yeah, it wasn't worth the risk. So I think it's done. It's gone well, though. I think so far.
It is what it is at this point.
Yep, exactly.
You got to build up eWeb Style, eWeb Results, which is why we'll keep our competition going forward.
Exactly. All right. So if this is the first time you've listened to the podcast, howdy, welcome, good to have you join us. This is the potatoes of the podcast. We will get into the meat. Actually, I had a prospect who listened to one of the podcasts. She was like, I never got to the meat. It was too much. And I was like, well, yeah, I understand. We get that from time to time. Those are
like appetizers.
And interestingly, it's the type A personalities who don't like the appetizer. So fast forward.
Yeah.
So if you've listened to this podcast before, you know what we're going to get into. We did not hit our 10 threshold, so we did not get 10 likes or shares or follows on our platforms. We did get a review. You'll notice there is no tier tattoo.
I was happy to notice you hadn't got any tattoos.
Yeah, because they hurt more when they take them off now. It's a little painful, I gotta admit. So what we will ask you to do, there are a couple of ways that you could leave us a review. We're certainly hoping that review would be 5 stars. And one of those ways is you can go to our G Plus account. Yes. We've made it extremely easy to get to our G Plus account. All you have to do is go to ewebresults.com/Google
Plus
or
/Google Plus
or
/G Plus
or
/G Plus.
All of those will take you to our G Plus local page or Google My Business page, right? Isn't it? It's Google My Business page. Who knows?
It's going to take you to our place where you can leave a Google review.
Yes, and you should do a couple of things while you're there.
Yeah. First off, put us in a circle, right? Yep. So that way you can share some content with us, we can share some content with you. More importantly, leave that review. Hopefully that review is 5 stars, and that way we will share it here live and comment on it.
Excellent. So the next thing you could do, it's only 3 steps. All you need to do is go onto iTunes, create an account, and write a review. Again, we're hoping that review is 5 stars. And if you choose to, send us an email, and you will email us, podcast@ewebresults.com. It's going to take a while to get used to that. You could also leave us a review on our Facebook page, and that is facebook.com/
eWebResults.
That works, yeah. Of course, there's a couple places, there happens to be a couple places on our Facebook page because we have a really old app for reviews, and then Facebook subsequent to that has made their own review process. Again, we hope that you make that 5 stars. And finally, on our Stitcher page, the easiest way to get to our Stitcher page is to go to our website, ewebresults.com. There's no dash.
No dash in eWebResults.
And click into any page, and you will find it on our right sidebar. You will find a link to our Stitcher page. We've been getting some, so our star rating is slowly increasing in Stitcher. We got. People on Stitcher are pretty cutthroat, so we're trying to change that up.
Totally different from iTunes users.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe it has to do with like podcast education or something, or I don't know.
I think it's just more the difference between Apple and Android.
So Android users are aggressive. Hey, if you want to haunt us, stalk us, or you could just follow us and engage with us. There's lots of ways to do that, and they are facebook.com/eWebResults, youtube.com/eWebResults, twitter.com/eWebResults, and instagram.com/eWebResults. All right, that was good.
I'm testing it out.
That would work. Yeah.
In my mind, I heard it sounded like the opera. It didn't come out that way.
Yeah, it sounded more like Whitney Houston. Yeah. It didn't. I'm sorry. It didn't either.
Shouldn't be Houston.
Yeah. Not good. All right. Or not as good as you thought, right?
Yeah.
Good enough for our podcast. That's
great in my mind, though. I killed it in my mind.
The crowd stood up. It was awesome. One note. Killed it. That's cool. Hey, if you're a PHP expert or a WordPress guru, we would certainly love to hear from you. We're probably interested in working with you. Please call and leave an audio resume, 713-510-7846. If you want a free website analysis, just go to our website, ewebresults.com, and you will find a link to a free website analysis. Submit that. We're getting caught up, so if you're really in a hurry, please reach out to us either via email or on our phone. And since I mentioned our phone, it's 713-592-6724. And then that is kind of the start of this. I now have, do you want to do a couple things, or you want to do a little news?
Yeah, got some news. Let's go into some news.
All right, so I just thought this was cool. WhatsApp is an app that was purchased by Facebook. It now has 900 million active users. My wife uses it. It has cool groups.
I know lots of people who use it.
It does some cool stuff. We should probably make like a group. So my wife does those monthly challenges. They'll do monthly ab challenge, monthly leg challenge. And so she'll get her team all connected. And so they're all like encouraging each other and like just finished my ab challenge. And for 30 days, they're encouraging each other. Lots of positive stuff. So So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, I know a lot of people who use it. I just haven't found the time.
Yeah, it takes time. The United Union, European Union, I have UE, but it's European Union, says that the anti-competitive suit that they're bringing about against Google is not about search, but it's about ads. And so this is an interesting thing in the article that I read, because we mentioned this in a previous podcast. So this is where you do a search for a product, and across the top you see like a film strip of products, and it's the Google merchant shopping ads, right? And what they mentioned is that should Google be required to treat shopping environments like Google the same as Amazon, right? So they're leveraging their search power to use another tool for the film strip. So it's not just search. So if they just did search and they didn't charge for it, great, you could, maybe they would still have a suit against them. But Amazon could provide the same information that Google has already in their Google merchant account to Amazon could provide that information to Google. So should Google be required, look, if you're going to do that, then you really should have Google Merchant and Amazon Merchant, and it's interesting, right?
I don't think so. I mean, I get it, but at the end of the day, dude, go to Amazon. You're saying you're on Google, and so you're seeing Google results.
It does bring an interesting, because what is the definition of a monopoly, and when does a monopoly become detrimental? And they're probably right at that edge, right? Because they're using their power as a search to promote another product over other people's product.
But they're not promoting, and you saying promote a product, meaning their merchant account,
yes,
their merchant feed. I would agree, except for the fact that the merchant isn't entirely operated by them. They've created the product, but at the end of the day, we have to submit our clients to the merchant.
Amazon's in there. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. It's a paid model that's not operated by Google. It's actually operated by the merchants themselves.
Yeah.
And so,
it's a good point.
Yeah, I would think not, frankly.
Good point. Let's see. Next, we've got a drone crashed at the U.S. Open, right? Which is kind of interesting, especially with the following. Weaponized drones will be flying in North Dakota by the police. So non-lethal, right? But
that's what sucks. And it's amazing you bring that up, because we was talking about that a few weeks ago at the barbershop, because a dude was at the shop flying his drone around.
Yeah, a small one inside?
No, we was outside the parking lot.
Cool. Yeah. And those are awesome, man.
It was fun. It was a blast. But, we kind of joked about what if somebody was able to put a weapon on these.
They can.
Exactly, and then I'm going to attack you from here.
Way over here.
From way over here. It's borderline scary.
So everybody at the U.S. Open was scared. They just assumed it was a bomb. Ugh. Yeah. Crazy. Let's go on to the next subject.
Crashing drones.
I want to see that. I've got a review, but you got some
news right quick. So Google is constantly updating Knowledge Graph. That's been a huge thing.
Right.
There's been tons of controversy about it, right? Everyone from people who are complaining that their sites are getting less traffic now because Google is providing the answer right there in the Knowledge Graph, which is a great experience for the mobile user, right? Yeah. But it just sucks for search engine placement, because you really need that clicking, you need that conversion,
right?
And so it's different. So they're making it even harder now, especially for doctors and lawyers and people like that who have medical questions. Google is adding 900 health conditions to the Knowledge Graph. 900 health conditions. So you name a condition you have, I don't know, sore throat or
tennis elbow.
Yeah, eczema, whatever it is, then the Knowledge Graph is going to give you an explanation of what that is.
Drone thumb.
Exactly. So I think it's a good idea.
Yeah.
But I understand why they're doing it. They're making a faster internet. They're making it definitely
better
more
experience.
user-friendly. Definitely a better experience. Just sucks for those guys who have that content. They're out of there.
Out of there. Yeah.
Out of there. They already saw a 40% decrease in traffic this year. And they're slated to lose more.
Wow.
And it's because of ironically, it's because of how good of a job they did.
Yep.
Right? They ranked well because they had all this content, and it was all there, and it was user generated, and users can edit it, and it was a great concept. The problem is people, the core amount of people surfing and researching the web now aren't those people who looking for all that information. It's people looking for the quick answer. It's the millennials. They're on mobile devices. Wikipedia is a horrible experience on a mobile device. Knowledge Graph works well. And so if you can answer my health-related question in less than 200 words in a Knowledge Graph, I will definitely take that rather than click a Wikipedia answer on Tennis Elbow and have to find my answer within all that content.
So am I going to die? I just need to know that.
Exactly.
Another good example is Google, how long should SEO take? Google's just doing a great job because they pulled a snippet out of a Forbes article and put that in the Knowledge Graph, and it's the perfect. It's just, I don't know how they're doing it.
Yeah, they're pretty awesome. Cool.
Yeah. Any other news?
Google.
Yeah.
Nope, that's it.
All right, so here is the review that we have. It's from Utah SEO, and it is
5 stars. Utah SEO?
Yeah, Utah SEO.
I love when SEO companies check us out.
Yeah, so this is, the title is Straightforward, Good Detail, Great Topics. Yep. I've listened for several years and have learned quite a bit about SEO from this podcast. First off, why did it take you 7 years to write a review? Second off, you wrote a review, so punch in the face, we'll let it slide. Yeah. These two are very knowledgeable, but also know how to present difficult content to their audience. I went ahead and took advantage of their free website review and was very impressed with the time and effort that Chris, that's me, put into this process. You will not be disappointed in this podcast.
Dude, like right hook, uppercut, left hook, over the top punch, and the elbow, man.
That was good. That was from Utah SEO, 5-star review. Thank you so much. You deserve that punch in the face. And
I got a punch in the face as well. I want to give a punch in the face to Dylan Dooms. Hit us up on Twitter at Dylan Dooms, and he asked a question. He says, at eWebStyle, how can I best optimize SEO on Adobe Business Catalyst? Hashtag help, hashtag SEM, hashtag SEO, hashtag PPC, hashtag AlgoCat. So Dylan Doom, first off, thank you for following us. Thank you for tuning in. Great question.
Great hashtags too.
Yeah, great hashtags. He says, how can I best optimize SEO on Adobe Business Catalyst? First off, why are you using Adobe Business Catalyst? I've seen it before. It's a typical content management system used for building similar websites. And like most CMSs, it works off themes and templates and things like that. So I've seen it before, and from what I remember, it's kind of similar. I know as you begin to create pages, you have an area to put in your SEO-friendly title, and you have an area to add your meta description, and even in your content area, you can mark up your text as you see fit using HTML and tag your images and everything else. So for the most part, as long as you follow kind of standard SEO practices, you should be good. Just make sure what I'm not clear about in regards to Adobe Business Catalyst is how it works on the back end, right? Like WordPress is PHP based. We kind of know what to expect. We know how long it's going to load, and we know how to make it load faster, and how style sheets work and all of those things. Not that familiar with Adobe Business Catalyst to say it's going to perform the same way. But I do know that as long as you optimize your content right and then spend some time on the back end making sure that it does load fast, that the content is presented well, that it is responsive. Again, I don't know the functionality of Adobe Business Catalyst, then you should be good. So I would say make sure your on page is optimized, make sure that it's mobile friendly, and you should be pretty safe.
Excellent. Is that the potatoes of our podcast?
That is the potatoes.
By the way, I have to recommend the Dos Equis Azul. It's actually pretty good. Yeah, it's good.
Dos Equis.
That is the potatoes of our podcast. It's time to get in the meat. Again, we're only going to cover 10 of the 20 items in this awesome article.
Yeah, so punch in the face to Julia McCoy. First off, she always puts out great content across the web, particularly found this article on Search Engine Journal. She says, first off, and we just give her a compliment on her 3 different titles.
Right.
3 different titles.
3 in 1, right?
The 3 in 1. So the main title is 20 useful content marketing tips you might not be using, but you should.
Right. Good.
So the regular page title, content marketing tips you might not be using yet.
Right. That's the page title. Right.
Subtitle, 20 simple, useful content marketing tips that often go overlooked.
Nice.
Punch in the face to you. Bravo on your choice of titles.
And she knows what she's doing.
Well, because we talked about this a couple podcasts ago about developing multiple titles for your articles.
Right.
Right. Because one of these is probably Facebook friendly, one is Twitter friendly, I get you.
Yeah.
So let's dig right in. We'll do the first 10. Number one. She says, look for blog topics right in your email inbox. She goes on to say, when you find yourself answering the same question from clients or buyers time after time, consider turning it into a blog post for your company site. And she's absolutely right. We talk about finding ways to develop content and finding ways to, develop content periodically and how you can do that without kind of always looking in the same places. And she's right. Look in your email. If you're getting emails from people and they're constantly asking questions, then answer those questions in a blog post. I'll take it a step further. Ask your sales team. Ask your customer service team. The people who are frontline dealing with your potential clients or dealing with your existing client base hand in hand. Bring them into a monthly meeting and say, hey, what's the top question you guys got this week?
Right.
How did you answer that question? What's the top objective? Maybe you're talking to your sales team. What's the biggest objection you get?
Right.
What's the biggest hurdle you have to cross? Get those questions and then write blog content that addresses those specifically. Because 9 times out of 10, if your sales team is if that's
bombarded,
their objection all of the time, then there's likely no content out there on your site to support that. Or maybe if your customer service team is getting bombarded with the same questions, then you need to provide some content to make your customer service team's job a little bit easier, frankly, and to even be more of a value add to that customer. They can go to your site and get the answer to their questions. So look for topics in your inbox, and I'll say check with other employees. Sales reps and customer service reps tend to work pretty well for that. Number two, she says embed your videos. She goes on to say blogs with videos are more likely to get additional hits and shares than those without videos. And she's right. We all know that anytime a video pops up on a blog post, we will stop, and if it auto-played, I'll likely let it play and watch it. And then we also know that when we add media to these blog posts, whether that media is video or an infographic or an audio file or whatever that media is, then they tend to rank a little bit higher. And so embedding those videos is extremely important. I'll add this though. Make sure you optimize those videos, right? So don't just embed this freshly uploaded video that you just uploaded to YouTube and you click share and you copied your embed code and you went to WordPress and you edited your post and pasted it. You're not done. We go back to YouTube and make sure that you've optimized that video. Gave it, one of these 3 titles that you came up with. Give it a description, right? In that description, make it kind of lengthy, discussing what that video is about. Include some keywords in that description. And so that way, now your site, your video has been transcribed. It has a good title. It has good content. And then embed it. Right, and so now that way you have a more an optimized video embedded in your site, and you should get some better results with that. Number 3, she says, if you don't have any videos, make some. And I'm laughing because I told this to a client the other day. He was like, I just don't have any videos, and I was like, well, make some. And then he was like, well, how do you do that? She goes on to say, what does your company do better than any other company out there? What can you teach people?
Not make videos.
What can you teach people? Is there a chance you could take that expertise and excitement and turn it into a video? Yes, you can. And so for those companies out there who just kind of figuring out, I don't know what to create a video about, dude, man, maybe it's your sales process, right? If you got a complicated sales process that takes 9 or 10 steps, dude, create your video that kind of summarizes what people can go through if they want to do business with you guys. And so that way, when they begin to go down that process, it won't be a surprise. They'll be prepared for it. Or maybe you have a product or a service, installation videos, how to use type of videos, testimonial videos that reference that product or service. All of these are great. Now, if you don't have the resources to go and get some expensive camera, which by the way isn't necessary, my Galaxy S5 takes amazing video.
Awesome. Yeah.
Man, take some high quality pictures, put them in a slideshow, and maybe they're before and after pictures, or maybe they're pictures of a process of you building something, from demoing the land to laying the foundation to getting the framework done to adding the roof to painting, and now you have all these videos of the house being built. Put them in order, add some background music, give it a little transcription, and you have a video.
Make sure you have, so you didn't include it in there, you get a lot more value if you actually have voiceover.
Oh yeah, add voiceover.
Make sure you got voiceover in there.
Yes, because people need to be talked to.
Well, and Google does translate that.
Definitely.
So if you go to YouTube, there is a translation of the video if there's talking in it. So Google's making its best estimate, and they do pretty good of what you're saying in the video, and that counts.
Yeah, it definitely counts. Number 4. She says, compile a who to follow list. She goes on to say, doing this offers 2 distinct benefits. First, consumers will appreciate the fact that you positioned yourself as a trusted source of information. And second, the people you link in the article will appreciate that you've directed traffic their way and are highly likely to return the favor. She's absolutely right. Yeah. I'll just say this. Don't include competitors. This is one of those situations where you don't want to include competitors. I don't need none of my people following any of my competitors.
Ever.
If you're going to do that, then do that on your own time and your own dime. I'm not going to ask you to do it. But what you do want to do is find people who are in your industry that aren't direct competitors that you would possibly even have an affiliation with. Those are great people to link to. And not only should you link to them on whatever page, you should share that page first, then you should tag them in it, you should remind them that you linked to them in it, and you should subtly request the link back, or just let them know how appreciative you would be if they return the favor. And then leave it alone. Half of them will, half of them won't. But at least you'll get some traction from
As an example, Charles reaches out to the article writer in via Twitter before every podcast. Right?
And some of them respond, some of them don't.
Yeah.
Julia, hope you get this. This is a great article you wrote. Number 5. She says, create a list of facts that support your mission. This is an awesome tip. She says, compile a list of facts that support your company's main goal or mission statement, and then publish it in a blog or an infographic. And she's right. What I would say to make that list of facts even more valuable, make it more relevant, include links in those facts to external sources that drive home that point. Right?
You're just going to give that away for free?
That's a pro tip, and that one's free on podcast 289.
Yeah.
Look, when you're creating that list of facts that support your mission, anytime you can find an external source, like, I don't know, some article on Forbes that talks about how long SEO would take, right? Or any of those things, include those outbound links. Why? Because that user who reading it, all of a sudden your trust just went up.
Yep.
Your trust just went up in their eyes. From a Google perspective, that's a pretty good outbound link, right? And if that other site is doing great SEO, they probably have some alerts set up, like we talked about on the previous podcast, then they'll likely link back, right? And so you want to make sure you create that list and then link out in that article when you can. Number 6. She says, tell a great story. I mean, Apple does this well.
Oh, yeah.
She says, if you're selling a lifestyle product, tell a story about how the product provides happiness, comfort, and safety, and things like that. And she's right. I'll say, with people pay attention to stories, right? And we were just talking about video.
Yeah.
If you can get that story in a video, awesome. Punch in the face to Big Data Supply Inc. You go to bigdatasupplyinc.com. They have an awesome video that talks about their process of how they can
summarizes their whole business
in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Right? How you can submit equipment, they'll buy from you, refurbish it, and resell it, and all kind of stuff. And or vice versa, buy from them, and so they do a great way of doing that. Even our video, which we probably need to rebrand now.
It's already underway.
Okay, cool.
Starts off with, allow me to tell you a story.
Exactly. People listen to stories. People kind of get comfy.
Yeah.
Tell me stuff.
It was described this way to me, and I believe it wholeheartedly. It gets past the sales filter, right?
It does.
Oh, you're going to tell me a story? Okay, yeah. Well, I don't need to be on guard about something you might sell me.
Exactly.
It's a great way to start any presentation you ever do. Before I get started, let me tell you a story.
Not even before you get started. If you do it subtly, and I'll tell you who do great jobs of this, like Joel Osteen, and and a lot of big mega preachers, they start off every sermon with a story.
Right.
And you don't know it's a story until he's 4 or 5 lines in. You find yourself just waiting to see what he's going to say next.
Yeah.
And then he goes off into his message. And so stories are a way to break the ice. Stories get people's attention. Stories lower people's defenses.
Yeah.
Stories are things that people can relate to. And so anytime you can create a story about your product, about your service, and hopefully tie it into a video, then you're in the right space.
We are wired to remember stories.
Exactly. Number 7. She says, consider the questions your customers ask, right? So similar to the other point, when your customers are asking questions, consider that as a way to generate content. What I would say is check your social media channels. right? Before we talked about checking with your sales team or with your customer service reps to see what questions your customers are asking, but check online as well. People ask, I just answered a question that was asked, through Twitter, right? And so people check your social channels, check your Facebook, check your Twitter, check your LinkedIn groups,
maybe
right?
even check your competitors' channels, right?
Check your competitors' FAQ page.
Boom.
Maybe they have questions that you don't have on yours that you can take it a step further and actually write content for.
Right, good content, because theirs sucks.
Theirs sucks, exactly. So I would definitely say that, and I would even, if we want another pro tip, I would say ask for questions. Who has a problem with this?
Yeah.
LinkedIn is a great place to do that, and let people respond, let people post their answers. You take those answers and begin to develop content.
8.
Number 8, she says make it a date specifically. And she goes on to say, by offering customers an invitation to tune in to a podcast or a webinar or any other video conference in a real time, you build more of a tangible connection. And she's right. Anytime, what I added was anytime you can get on someone's calendar, like they've committed to watching you, committed to listening to you, committed to doing, being wherever you ask them to be at, then they're half sold.
Yeah.
They've already mentally committed. They've already blocked out a section of time.
Reliability.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That means they're more open to purchase whatever you're about to try and sell them. And so, I would say not only make it a date, but make it a date that you can stick with. Yeah. I can kick us in the shin here. This is one of the things we kind of struggle with. This podcast would probably be a lot more successful if we...
As certainly the live version of the podcast would be more successful.
Yeah,
if we
did it at a certain time. And we're getting there.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for who watch.
Yeah.
But yeah, make it a date is a great thing. That's why news stations and things like that and TV programming works, and that's why they have to go by the book, because they make it a date and they don't change that.
Yeah, imagine if you went to your TV at 7 o'clock and the 7 o'clock news hadn't started yet.
Yeah, even if it was like 7:02.
You're like, what the? It'd probably be our what news? News is starting at 7:02 now.
Exactly. So make it a date and try to stick to it.
9.
Number 9, she says, put promotion first. She goes on to say, in order to employ great content marketing, think about how you will market this content before you develop it. And ladies and gentlemen, that's key. You must understand where this content is going to be posted, right? As you begin developing ideas and figuring out what you're going to write about, and then you go down your path of keyword research, okay, and developing the keywords, and now I got my graphic designer creating the artwork I'm going to use. You need to start thinking about, where's this content going to go? Of course, it may end up on some blog post on our site, but then will we tweet it? Will we Facebook it? Will it be specific to, maybe we're just going to do an infographic, and in that case, it'll just go on Pinterest and some site where we can post infographics. Where is this content going to go? Is this going to be on SlideShare? Understand where it's going to be posted and then develop your content. And so that way you can create the other channels you need to help promote it. For example, if you're going to put this on your website as a blog post, and maybe you're doing some custom artwork to go with it, then have your designer not only create that featured image, but go ahead and have him make up a meme that you may want to use on Instagram, have him make up some other image that you may want to use on Facebook. And so that way, when you create it, when you post it, you'll have all of the things already created, already necessary to help you promote it effectively. You got to put promotion first. When you're creating content, it's clear. You must understand how you're going to promote it and where you're going to promote it at, because that will determine how the content is going to work.
By the way, one thing that is really important in that is kind of an underlying tone is plan on promoting your content.
Exactly. Don't
just stick it on your blog and leave it there.
They won't write it, and they will. Well, they will, because we've done that. But we also promote.
Yeah.
Right. We promote because we know they will eventually come.
Yeah.
Number 10.
Last one for the day.
Last one for the day, and the 11 through 20 is awesome. Cool. But we'll stop at number 10 for the day. She says, embed yourself in the community. Embed yourself in the community. She says, find a few of the communities that pertain to your business's specialty, and then join that discussion. She's right. So any articles you find, any forums that you find where they're related to your industry, man, you better start being attention. You better start reading. You better start commenting, start liking, start befriending these people, because this is how you embed yourself in the community. More importantly, Maybe you did find a great forum article and you wrote a great comment or response to someone. Then on your own site, it may be in your best interest to kind of repurpose that, reword it, and then link to it.
Yep.
So that way people could go there for more information. And just like in the previous tip, the person who likely manages that will see it and likely link back.
Yep.
Just kind of how Link Love works. So that's number 10 out of the, that's the first half of this article, 20 useful content marketing tips you might not be using, but you should. Punch in the face to Julia McCoy.
10 punches in the face.
10 punches in the face. Bing, 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 bing. For those. And yeah, tune in next week to podcast 290, and we'll go through 11 through 20.
Excellent, excellent. Do we have any what news?
No, I really don't have any what news. I mean, I was considering using our drone situation because I had heard about that as well.
Yeah, that's pretty what. Yeah. What? Like, who thinks, hey, I'm gonna fly it over the open?
I would. Like, yeah. I'm just there, and I got one.
Yeah,
you know,
and then let it die or
that
crash
was the bad
it.
Part. No, he went too far. He's exceeded his range.
And I don't know if you saw this. They've done this before. Snuck drugs into prisons with drones, right? So they're just outside of the woods, right at the fence. They fly the drone over,
just high enough to make you drop.
It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, drones, man. Look.
All right, so that's wrapping up our podcast. Hey, if you're looking to grow your business with the largest, simplest marketing tool on the planet,
the internet,
call eWeb Results for increased revenue in your business. Our phone number is 713-592-6724. If you do have a referral, so that's somebody who's interested in doing internet marketing, you can send them to us. If they pay their bill, we will pay you. That's our referral program. I am on Blog Talk Radio, creativebizIdeas.com. This Monday is Labor Day, so I will not be on the radio on Monday. But the following week, we broadcast live from 7:30 until 8:30 Central Standard Time, and you can just find us at creativebizIdeas.com. This podcast was filmed live at 5999 West 34th Street, Suite 106, Houston, Texas 77092. We are the most popular internet marketing podcast because of all yous guys.
You right there. You who just clicked and has to rewind it because you started watching late.
Yes, and then now go and make sure you tweet and follow us and all that stuff. Thank you guys for making us the most popular podcast, internet marketing podcast. Until the next podcast, my name's Chris Perez.
I'm Charles Lewis.
Bye-bye for now.
Man.